Hey there. As a parent, you're always keeping an eye on your kids as they grow and change, right? And sometimes you might notice something about their posture that just makes you wonder. It's totally normal to have questions, and today we're going to talk through some of the most common ones about your child's spinal health.
So maybe you've noticed your child is slouching a lot, or their clothes just don't seem to hang quite right. That little worry in the back of your mind, that's what brings so many parents looking for answers. And you know what? You're in exactly the right spot. Let's dive in and get you some clarity.
So, where does this journey usually begin? It almost always starts with a simple observation, something you just see in your day-to-day life. So, what are the first things that typically catch a parent's eye?
Yeah, it's these little things, isn't it? You might notice one shoulder just seems to sit a little higher than the other, or a t-shirt always looks kind of lopsided. Maybe one hip seems to stick out more, or you see a shoulder blade that's really prominent. These are those classic visual cues that just whisper, hey, maybe we should pay a little closer attention here.
Okay, seeing those signs can definitely be a bit worrying. I get it. But our goal here isn't to sound any alarms. It's just to understand what's really going on. Because it turns out, not every curve you see is created equal.
So, this is probably one of the most important things to get straight. There's a huge difference between what we call a postural curve and actual structural scoliosis. Think of a postural curve as being flexible. It's often caused by muscle habits and can usually be corrected with the right exercises. But structural scoliosis, that's a fixed curve that needs a real management plan. Getting this distinction is absolutely key.
So let's give it its proper name. Clinically, we're talking about scoliosis, which is really just a fancy way of saying there's a sideways curve in the spine. But the really important thing to remember here is when it tends to pop up. Right in the middle of those massive growth spurts, usually between 8 and 14 years old, when a kid's body is just changing like crazy.
But listen, here's the absolute best part, the real message of hope here. Whether we're talking about a simple postural issue or the very beginnings of structural scoliosis, getting started with targeted physiotherapy early on can make a world of difference. It's all about being proactive to improve alignment and build up that strength. So, what does that support actually look like? If you decide to get some help, what happens next? Let's just walk through the whole process so it doesn't feel like a mystery. Any good assessment is going to be super methodical. It all starts with just looking, observing the spine while your child is standing and then bending forward. From there, we dig a little deeper, analyzing things like balance and core strength. And the final step, you get a clear, easy-to-understand plan based on everything we found. No jargon, no mystery, just a straightforward path forward. And this, right here, this is the goal of modern physiotherapy. We're not talking about scary or painful treatments at all. It's about creating a space where kids feel totally safe, where they feel in control, and where they start to learn about their own bodies. It's about empowering them to build their own strength and posture.
The treatment itself is like a whole toolkit of different strategies. We're talking about building a stronger core, which acts like a natural corset for the spine, and doing very specific exercises that target the curve itself. We even use breathing techniques to help with rib mobility. It's all about rebalancing the body, stretching what's tight, strengthening what's weak. It's a really complete approach.
Now, the work we do in a clinic, that's only half the story. The true, lasting change really happens when all these healthy habits get woven into everyday life. So let's talk about how we build on that foundation at home. This quote absolutely nails it. Long-term success isn't just about doing exercises once or twice a week. It's about developing this constant awareness of posture that your child carries with them all day, every day. That right there is the real game changer. And this is where it gets super practical. We're talking about small but powerful tweaks to daily life. How to sit properly at a desk, the best way to hold a phone so you avoid that tech neck, and even just how to wear a backpack so the weight is distributed evenly. It's all about setting up their world to support their spine, not strain it. So the takeaway here is that this is a partnership. It's a team effort. The therapist can provide the tools and the game plan, but it's that consistent practice at home, the daily exercises and the little postural reminders that really makes the progress stick. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here. We've gone from those first little worries all the way through the treatment process and why home habits are so important. So what's the one thing you really need to take away from all this? It really comes down to this number, 8 to 14. This is the critical window. During these years, kids are growing so incredibly fast that a small curve can change and progress really quickly. That's why getting an early look and starting to monitor things isn't just helpful, it's absolutely crucial. And let's just tackle the biggest fear head on.
The word scoliosis can make a parent's mind jump straight to surgery. But here's the reality. The vast majority of mild to moderate curves are managed super effectively with non-invasive stuff like physiotherapy. Proactive care is an incredibly powerful tool.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Now that you know what to look for, and you know that there's effective, empowering help out there, could taking that one small early step to get an assessment be the key to supporting your child's spinal health for their entire life?